Hey, all right, and hey, how's it going? Mr. Deadman, Hard Talk Radio. And tonight, this episode, we're talking about cannibals. Oh, I don't do trigger warnings much. Consider this a warning. I hope you're ready. I hope you have a hard beverage to help you swallow what you are about to eat here. Okay? What I'm giving you here in this show is gonna be pretty damn harsh. It's gonna be funny. Oh yeah. But it's pretty dark. We're doing it, man. We're taking a deep dive into what it's like to be a cannibal. You see, this is a horror-related show. This is a month of Thanksgiving, a month of feasting, and I figured, why not explore this topic to the point to where it becomes kind of weird. What are we doing here? I'm on a quest. I want to find a real-life cannibal and talk to him. And this is my way of sending out the message that Hard Talk Radio is looking for you. Are you a cannibal? Huh? Are you? Well, I'm looking for you. Not to rat you out, not to be a fed, but I just want to know what it's like. I want to know what it tastes like. They say we taste like pig. They say we taste like pig. We'll explore that here in this episode. Before I get carried away, this episode is sponsored by Dead Man's Home Monsters Exist. Do monsters, encrypted, urban legend, beasts, and creatures exist? I can talk about Chupacabra, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, the Goat Man, the Lizard Man. Do they exist? Are they just figments of our imagination? What's really going on in the shadows? What's going on in the dark? That's what Monsters Exist is about. Let me show that book one more time for those that see the stream. Streaming on Twitch, by the way. You can get this on Amazon, paperback, ebook. Okay. Pretty easy to find. Oh, one thing I need to do before I get started. Same thing I've recommended you to do. Get a hard drink ready. I'm going with Grangestone right now. I hope you're ready. You see, cannibalism... the deal with cannibalism is that what you know about it is wrong. I guarantee you that. Cannibalism's been around for a while. Look, since the dawn of mankind, cannibals have been around. Since humans have existed, cannibals have been around. Okay? Cannibals have been around. You can see that. We have ancestors that are, cannibals. There's evidence to show that they have devoured humans. They have tasted flesh. And they'll say it's because of limited resources. That's incorrect. That's actually incorrect. Well, yeah, there are situations where there's limited resources and people will eat people. Most definitely. Yeah, for survival. But somehow, even with resources available, like let's say with Native Americans, have plenty of game available. Even with that game available, certain tribes just were more akin to eating the flesh of their enemies. I mean, don't let any meat go to waste. Right? You got to use everything and anything if you're going to survive out there in the wilderness. You got to use anything and everything. So why would they let it go to waste? I mean, there's certain tribes that are so barbaric that they were described of drinking like human soup. They were just the things the Jesuits wrote about seemed like something of horror. Seemed like something from like what was that? What's that movie? Bone Tomahawk. That's it, right? Kurt Russell. It's pretty much It's kind of like Tombstone, but you have Native American savages at the end of it just going freaking crazy. Bone Tomahawk. Really good movie. Good movie. Yeah. So, yeah, it's not about lack of resources. There are tribes, there's people that actually like the taste of human flesh. Look, you don't have to take my word for it. Look at the facts around you. There's serial killers that will, with McDonald's, Jack in the Box, and everything around them, will go out of their way to lure people into their house, to trap them, to kill them, to then eat their flesh. Why do that when you can just go down the road and get yourself a Big Mac? You can go get a Whopper. You can go get a Whataburger burger. You can go get your own steak. You can go get a pork loin. Go get yourself a pulled pork sandwich. You know, you have all the food available. But what do? They want the taste of human flesh. It's not about lack of resources. There's something there. There's something to it. There's something to it, man. And it's not just me talking about it. One example. Mao Sugiyama. A dude in Japan in 2012. He's a chef. He severed his own genitalia. Well, he didn't sever it. I mean, he served it. He served his own genitalia, his own dick and balls, his own penis, scrotum, and testicles with button mushrooms and parsley. How did this happen? He served it to people willingly. They paid for this. $250 a plate. You see, this guy, he went through elective surgery because he's asexual and he wanted to get rid of his dick and balls. I was thinking, well, he's Japanese. I mean, is there really much there? But okay, fine, sure. But he goes through the process, and then don't let anything go to waste. He served it. $250 for a penis, scrotum, testicles. Apparently 6 people signed up for this. 5 showed, and they ate it. They ate this dude's dick and balls. Would you eat a guy's dick and balls? Not in a sexual way, but served up. Like, have you ever eaten bull testicles? I've had bull balls before. Rocky Mountain oysters. Had them fried. That was a whole experience cooking them. I don't want to do that again. But everybody has a price. For $250, I'll gladly do that again. Let's see. Other examples. In Peru, there is a tribe. Ooh, we're going with tribe. Current day, still around. A tribe. Gayaki tribe. Gayaki. I don't even know if I said that right. It doesn't even matter. This tribe, don't let any meat go to waste. You know, that's going to be a running theme here. Don't let any meat go to waste. And by the way, you might be thinking, wait a second, in the title, didn't this say Facebook cannibal groups? It did. And we're going to get to that. You see, everything has a purpose. But anyway, this group in Peru, this tribe, when someone dies, when a member of the tribe dies, they will eat their flesh. They don't hunt down the enemies. They eat their own when they die. Because they believe that the way to heaven is through consumption, through being eaten and devoured. And that's how the soul gets released to heaven. I thought that was strange. So heaven's like the stomach, but apparently if they don't do that, the spirits will wander and haunt them. So you could be haunted and annoyed by a spirit that won't stop crying over the fact that they died, or you could just eat them. And they describe the human flesh as sweet, like wild hog, very tender, covered in a layer of yellow fat. I hear it's very delicious, and it's not illegal. Let me tell you that. Let me tell you that right now. You might think this is a joke, this hyperbole, exaggerated. This is not. It is not illegal to eat human flesh. I don't even think it's illegal to sell human flesh. How could it be? It's not illegal to eat it, but it's illegal to kill someone, obviously. So how would you acquire this? I don't know. But it's not illegal to eat it. Anyway. By the way, this tribe, they have a whole recipe for this. They like to grill the human flesh with the bud of a pindo palm. And then if a man is beaten, the penis is boiled and given to a woman, because they believe that if they eat that boiled penis, they will give birth to a boy. I don't know if that includes that they still have to have sex, if they believe that they have to have sex and eat the penis to give birth to a boy, or they just believe that eating the penis will then impregnate them to where they have. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. After all, this tribe is eating their own, thinking that's the gate to heaven, and so I don't know what they think. Honestly, I can't speak for them because it's a little weird. The jury's out on what's going on in the minds of this Peruvian tribe. Good to know that they're not going to eat you, though. That's good to know. There's more, though. There's more. I'm going to table this one. I'm going to table this point I was about to get onto. But there is more. Let me bring something to your attention. In Brazil, there's another tribe. You know, these tribes, man. There's another tribe, the warrior of Brazil. They eat human flesh of their enemies and loved ones, but they don't consider themselves cannibals. What they do is, when someone dies, they will take the flesh of the dead and allow the body to rot to 2 to 3 days. It's then cut up, grilled, and once ready, the meat is shredded and placed on a woven mat next to roasted Maya's cakes. The flesh is consumed with sticks because they believe that if they touch it, it's bad. It's taboo. You don't touch it. You got to eat it with, sticks, whatever, chopsticks. Okay. They're eating rotten flesh, guys. Not even eating the good stuff. Why am I telling you this? So that you know that it's not letting you know that people out there do this thing, current day, current year, 2020, still eat human flesh. In fact, while we talk, you can rest assured that there's probably some sort of serial killer or someone out there who's farming humans selectively to satisfy some urge. And no one's talking about it because everyone's talking about the election or coronavirus or something else. Everyone's distracted with TikTok. I mean, right now would be a great year to, if you're going to be a serial killer, to get away with all sorts of crazy shit. This is because no one would even care. Cannibalism is there. But this stream is called, this podcast episode of Hard Talk Radio is called Cannibalism Meal Prep. How do you prep it? Where do you go to find this? Well, I did the searching for you. Went to the dark web. Before I went there, I went to some various Facebook groups. Didn't know what I was going to find. I found 2 groups about cannibals and how to prepare things. The first group I found disappeared. Cannot find it. It was probably reported. That's okay. That's fine. The second group, however, is still around. It's called Cannibal Meal Prep. And I'm going to put this on the screen for those that are watching the stream so that way you could see this. I'm not making it up. Now, this is on Facebook, so how bad could it be? Well, it's not bad. In this group, I'll tell you right now, they don't talk about the ins and outs of how to prepare the human flesh. They don't talk about how to get the right cut, how to properly skin, and how to marinate, how to, all that. They don't talk about recipes. Well, what they do, though, is they talk about a particular fantasy called Duslet. D-O-C-L-E-T-T. Duslet. Duslet. What is Duslet? It is the fetish of eating people. It's kind of like vor. But the people that are being eaten are presented as if they are like a boar with an apple in his mouth. Presented as food, as an entree. Now, it goes pretty deep. You can go to Pornhub right now if you don't believe me, and look up Duslet. There's a whole section for that. A horror author that I published, his name is Gil Valet. Val, the cannibal cop, the New York City cannibal cop. He was arrested for thought crimes because he was into Duslet. And his fetish, the stuff he wrote about on the internet, was used by his ex-wife, framed against him. Oh, man. That grindstone wasn't hard enough. Let me take another sip. Base cannibal. Base cannibal. That's right. Anyway. So what can we find here in this cannibal meal prep? Well, a reminder, for those in this Facebook group, this is public information. Do not get mad about me using it. Anyway, you're going to find hilarious posts here, like Alice Kantorkova, and she might actually be a cannibal. I don't know. She sounds like she lives in Kazakhstan, whatever. Here, my friend Helena. Helena is a cannibal. She only eats young man and a boy. She's been eating more young boys lately. Helena sucks their penises and eats sperm first. She says penis is the best lollipop and sperm the best appetizer. She sometimes eats meat raw, especially thighs. She likes you best. Sometimes the meat is baked. Helena is very dangerous. She ate already a lot of men. And what she's talking about is her cat. She's talking about her black and white cat. Nice looking cat, by the way. Very cute. Aww. But fucking wild. I mean, what I read sounds like something I would hear from like a Mr. Mediker stream if he was doing like internet insanity. I mean, this Ellis chick is talking about Helena, her cat, saying that her cat eats a young man and a boy, that her cat has been eating more boys lately. She's been feeding the stray boys that get lost from school, I guess stray away from school, to her cat. I don't know what she's talking about. And then she's saying that her cat sucks on the boys' penises. What? She's a member of this group, but this can't be a troll account, a sock account, can it be? I mean, this is wild. Saying that her cat thinks that the penis is the best lollipop and the sperm the best appetizer. Really out there. Very strange, very weird, very bizarre. I mean, I take it that you're going to have some bizarre posts if you're in a group called Cannibal Meal Prep and you're a woman and you're trying to fit in with cat photos. But, I mean, is this what you want to do? You might think this is a distraction. I clicked on this video, on this podcast. I'm watching this stream because I want to know how to prepare my human flesh. We'll get to that. I promise you, we're going to get to that. Okay. We will. Now, in this post, you're going to find things, what you would probably expect to find. You know, a woman posts a picture of her cat saying that her cat likes penises, likes to eat men and boys. And guess what you get? You get people who want to simp. Your cat can eat me. Your pussy can eat me. Let's see. T Mando messages provido. What does it translate to? Sending you a private message. Wow. Probably a dick pic. Sounds like a very good chef to meet. Why? You want to be eaten, huh? Okay. Here's another one. Same person. Here, you only want to eat girls. I have a friend, and she's a cannibal. She eats men and boys. And that's her cat. So maybe this is true. Is her little house cat eating people? I mean, house cats aren't going to eat a whole lot. So press X to doubt on that. But of course, you get more simps. You got Bruce Catman saying, Willing Mel here. Willing Man, Long Pig here. If anyone wants to chat, you can eat me anytime. Your friend can have me over for dinner anytime. Just Jesse Clem. Oh, and there's my post about looking for a real-life cannibal. And I'm serious. And I found one, by the way. We'll find out more about that later. I guarantee you. Okay. And then, of course, you get questions like this. If you had to resort to cannibalism, what part of the body would you eat or who? Okay. Good. Okay. If I was going to join a cannibal Facebook group, that would be what I'd probably ask. Hey, man, what would you eat? The ass, right? Pig butt is pretty good. Imagine human butt's pretty good. You know, bacon's pretty good. They say human are just long pig. Let's get some of that belly fat. Get some bacon there. Woo! Try that out. Fry that shit up. In the comments section, of course, ass, liver, heart. Oh, that's liver. Ugh, gross, nasty. Now, the reason why I'm still talking about this group, especially for those watching on the stream, like you, Cool Tactic, you know what to do. You're awesome. What they also do is Doslet. Doslet is a fantasy. Here's where it comes in. They post pictures of various women. I don't know where they find these photos. I mean, this one here is of Akira. I think she's a porn star. I'm not exactly sure. And I'm just saying, like, what's your Doslet fantasy? Is it going to be forced? Is it be volunteer? How would you do it? How would you prep her? How would you eat her? All this stuff. What part would you eat? Things like that. And it gets pretty detailed. It gets pretty detailed until they can't. You know, they have to skirt the lines of Facebook. But yeah, more chicks. And sometimes random girls. I don't know who this girl is. She seems so random. Like just taking photos from Instagram. I don't even know how old she is. I couldn't tell you. Sophia, delicious for a story dulcet. Volunteer / force barbecue family dinner party or friends. Another one. And another one. And you know what? That chick has to be like 16. There's like a teddy bear behind her. I don't know. Here's another one. Carla, delicious or dulcet. Here's another one. It just goes on. That's what this is. That's what this group is all about. Now. Okay. So I showed you that there's Facebook groups out there. One that I can actually show you. That's about cannibalism and entertaining Doslet. But what about prepping? What about food prep? After all, it's called cannibalism, meal prep. So, I was looking around. In this group, I saw a post. It's been since deleted. It said that the best way to prep human meat is you go for an old-fashioned salt and pepper rub. You don't want to marinate too much because you don't want to offset the flavor with other things. Some people like to marinate their steak with like they use like vinaigrette, salad dressing. They use like various marinades. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But if you want just the taste of the meat and you just want to have it enhanced with some salt and pepper, you know, that's all you really need. A bit of ginger. They get teriyaki soy sauce. Right? Right? Yeah. I got a lot of questions. At least I had a lot of questions. And I'm sure you have these same questions that I had. And I wish I could show you this. But like I said, the group that I found this information has been deleted, essentially. I mean, I can't find it now. But it's like, if you are wanting to be a cannibal, if you're wanting a target, well, you gotta factor in the age. Apparently, age is very important. Apparently, anywhere between 3 to 16 years old is like really good, great taste. But if you want to go younger, you can. Apparently, babies taste delicious. According to what I've read, babies taste delicious. I disavow that. I'm pro babies, but you know, some people hate babies. They just want to see them in dumpsters. That's kind of a waste. I guess you could make some baby nuggets out of that before you discard it. Seems kind of a waste. But if you don't want to go for baby, you don't want a baby burger, you could go from like a 15-year-old, 16-year-old, and it's not creepy because it's not sexual, okay? It's just eating. That's what it is. You're not doing anything weird with it, okay? You don't fuck the dead cow or the dead deer, so don't do any funny business with this food, okay? It's not going to taste good. Anyway, you're just going to mess it up. I say that, but some of the recipes I'm going to get into. One of them requires cum, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that. I'm telling you, man, this episode's getting weird. Oh, shit. Obviously, you want your human to have some fat. You don't want them to be too fat. Okay? You don't want them to just be blubber. Like someone like Boogie, too much blubber. Like someone like Chantal or one of those other very positive people, too much blubber. Okay? That's a lot of fat to cook, and that's waste. That's just, no, that's not good. That's not good. And that meat's not going to taste really good either. It's going to be bad, man. They're bloated and nasty. And not the same way that a cow gets or a pig gets before you kill it. And you gotta think too. Like, apparently from what I've read, like, you gotta account to what they eat. Apparently, and this surprised me. I was like, what? Are you sure? Are you serious about this? Let me ask you. Which would you think would be a better taste of a meal? A human that eats meat or a human that's more of a vegetarian? Which one do you think tastes better? Oddly enough, it's the vegetarian. And it got to thinking, that's not odd at all. After all, pigs, cows, deer, they taste great. And what are they usually eating? They're not eating meat. I mean, pigs can eat meat, but usually they're being fed corn or whatever the shit, you know? It's like, okay. It's described that the meat's a little bit sweeter, a little bit juicier. Oh, okay. Nice. And by the way, while some people describe human meat as tasting like kind of like pig, some of the tribes, one of which I forgot to mention, says it's more like kind of like a sweeter beef than it is a pig. So I guess it also depends, like what they're referencing could be how they prepped it. Because some of these tribes, they just literally, they would kill someone and just cook them over the fire until the hair falls off, until everything falls off, and then they'll cut into it and eat it. No real prepping at all in that, right? They were just, there was no care and seasoning. That was just eating for survival. So, whatever. Now, if you're looking for a good taste of human meat, you want to go female. I'm not trying to be sexist, not trying to be a chauvinist or whatever, you got to go female. The women taste better. They have a little bit more fat on them. And I know that might sound kind of like opposite of what I said about really large people, but it's a good balance between fat and meat. Fat and muscle is what I'm getting at. They have a better taste. Make them a little bit more tender. Now, some people out there kind of put misinformation out there on the deep web, on the dark web, saying that, race and ethnicity play a factor, that, if you eat people that are a little brown skinned, they're going to have omega-3 and calcium. But apparently that's a myth. Of course, it hasn't really been studied. There's no research paper showing that, but that's kind of like speculation. I mean, if you want to take that, you the listener, if you want to take that study, if you say, that sounds a little racist, feel free, do what you can to find a way to research that study or whatever you can, because we got to be factual, okay? We don't want to be racist. But my uncle always told me that Mexicans taste spicier, and that's not true. I mean, not that I would know or anything, but when I say this though, apparently though, it's not about ethnicity and race. It's about their diet. If a certain group of humans eat or tend to eat a lot of garlic, like Italians, their meat is they're gonna have that sort of taste in their meat. Like you get that a lot. Apparently, you get that a lot from Italians. And of course, people from India, they taste like curry and shit like that. Now, one thing you got to keep in mind with humans, when you're gonna eat the anus, you got to have a nice rub of salt and garlic. That's the only way it's gonna really taste good. And you have to cook it at 450 degrees, apparently. I mean, I'm telling you this, that way 450 degrees, have a salt and garlic rub on the anus. And you can eat it. You disavow? You disavow? I mean, even if you're not into butt stuff, at this point we're just talking about meat. You eaten pig butt before? Pig butt's pretty good. It's good, man. Oh yeah, man, I'll totally eat a pig butt. Made some pulled pork sandwiches out of pig butt. Woo, pig butt? Eat that shit. Clip that out. Clip that out and put that on PO's server or whatever. I don't care about that. So my point in here is that nationality, ethnicity, those don't really matter. It's about the diet, okay? And the prep. Okay, let's get deeper in the prep. We talked about the anus. Yeah. There's a whole method. There's a lot of literature here about how to tie up a human, how to cut them an appropriate way to make sure that it's done just right. First, you want to bleed it. You treat it. You want to do it like you do a deer, pretty much. Okay. You want to do it like you do a deer. Oh, and Phantom Organization does not have a cannibal on a server, a real one. I asked around. None of them wanted to do it. Okay, even if you did, fake. But I found a real one. On the 23rd, is that the Monday? Is that next Monday? That's when we're going to have the cannibal. We're going to have a cannibal on this show. It's going to happen. Now, I'm not going to go into a whole detail about how to properly tie up a human and cut it. That's a little weird. That's kind of like, it sounds a little too much detail for us. Like, we're not actually wanting to do this. But I will say that if you're looking for the healthiest part of a human, apparently the lymph nodes are really good. I mean, that's what I've read anyway. Okay. Now let's get serious here. If you cook steak, I'm sure you've tried different ways to enhance the flavor or maybe played around with it. I've done things, you know, I like to change my game every now and then when it comes to grilling. A couple times actually, I like this. It seems to help the taste. I will coat it in butter. Right? I'll have a rub, and on top of the rub, I'll have butter. And it's just all encased in that. And it just kind of sits there in the fridge. It just kind of soaks in. The meat just soaks it all in. And there's a little... I don't want to put holes through it, right? there's just a little... I put little... I work the butter into the meat. Okay. Anyway. You can do that here with human meat. You do it the same way. The way you would prep pork, the way you would prep beef, you treat it the same way. If you would go into that much detail, you'd do the same thing. You can use Worcestershire if you wanted to. You could use various rubs. If you just want a nice basic rub, if you want to use some garlic and herbs or whatever, you could use that too. That's fine. You know? You're the chef. The only thing that people are going to want to ask is that you don't burn it. And if you like your meat medium rare, guess what? You can have it medium rare and be just fine. Now, there's some people out there that apparently say that, human meat is bad for you. That's actually not true. They'll say that you don't have the enzyme to digest it. I don't know if that's true or not, but that hasn't stopped people from processing it and shitting it. So I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I mean, tribes that are cannibals tend to thrive and stick around until they're wiped out. I mean, we have tribes that are cannibals now that are still alive and they're still cannibals. And they have no problem eating, processing the meat, and shitting. So I don't know what they're talking about. Now, do not eat human brain. Human brain is bad for you. That is the part that's bad for you. Apparently, when you eat human brain, in the brain, there's a type of protein. I forgot what it's called. A prion protein? I forgot. But that is bad for you. If you eat that, it will actually destroy your brain. Ironically, if you eat a human brain, it will destroy your brain. The proteins that are associated with Alzheimer's disease is somehow linked to that. Now, how they found that out, I'm not exactly sure, okay? Now, let's get into some recipes, okay? Let's say you got your human meat. It's been marinated. It's been salt and peppered. You're ready to cook. Let's get some corned human cabbage. Corned human and cabbage. You need 1 3-pound human brisket, okay, soaked in brine. 8 whole cloves. 4 bay leaves. And assorted vegetables, carrots, squash, bell peppers, eggplant, onions, freshly ground black pepper, okay? You want to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. Place the corned human in a colander in the sink and rinse well under. I can tell you, I mean, if you want the full detail, I can. But I feel like we're getting kind of weird here, okay? I'm just letting you know, there's a whole thing. I'm going to stop reading the recipe there. All right? You go find it yourself. You go into the deep web. You go into the dark web. I mean, I guarantee you, I'm on the FBI list now. Now, if you like a stew, good luck. Good news. Guess what? There's a stew recipe. Vegetable oil for searing, okay. 2.5 pounds of shoulder meat. You're going shoulder meat for this. Cut into 2-inch cubes. Kosher salt You got to make it kosher, okay? Kosher salt, freshly ground black pepper. 2 tablespoons of unsalted sperm. That's going to be difficult. Unsalted sperm, okay? Then 2 medium onions cut into 6. A tablespoon of tomato paste. Like I said, I could go through this whole list of ingredients and I could tell you the preparation if you really want to know. But like I said, we're getting a little weird. Yes, you can use a crock pot. You can use a crock pot. I mean, if you cut it just right, I mean, you could cook it, you could fry it up in a frying pan. I mean, when people think cooking human, they think putting the whole human on a stick or a spike or whatever. Am I saying that right? And roast them over a fire or whatever. Put them on the oven. No. You don't even do that with your deer. You don't do that with a cow. You don't do that with a pig. You cut it up into slices. You slice the meat up and you save it for later. And that's how you do it. Easy. Now, being Horror Talk Radio, what is the best horror movie that has cannibalism in it? Cool tactic. What is a good horror movie that has cannibalism in it? Cannibal Holocaust? Green Inferno? I don't know about a good horror movie, but it does have it. I think Raw. Raw is actually... it's... I'm kind of stuck on the good part too. It's better than Green Inferno. Bone Tomahawk is really good. Wrong Turn? Yeah, I believe that's cannibals. I believe that is cannibals right there. So, I think the takeaway from this episode of Hard Talk Radio is that people still eat human meat. People eat human meat, and it's not because of a lack of resources. Oh, of course, there's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That had cannibalism in it. How do we forget about that? I mean, when I think about it, what is the problem with eating human meat? It's not illegal to do so. In fact, it's legal. You can eat it. In fact, the UN, the United Nations, has actually, look, there's articles out there, there's reports out there to show that they put into consideration that there might come a time where we might have to eat human meat, even for the planet's survival. Think about that. If they find that it's eco-friendly to eat human meat to depopulate in that way, do you think they wouldn't do it? Guys, we're on a weird path to, I think the globalists are really trying to push us towards Brave New World, but we're going to get something else instead. It's going to be Brave New World with, like, cannibals. And there probably was cannibalism in Brave New World. I don't remember that book too much. There probably was. I just remembered that in the lower parts of the Brave New World society, there was a bunch of redheaded Oompa Loompa things that ran the, I guess the underbelly crap. There were a bunch of midget gingers. That's not me saying it. That's in Brave New World. Go read that book. I just remember people getting high all the time on Soma and having orgies. But my point is, it's in reports, even for the United Nations, that they'll have to consider eating human meat. It's not illegal to do so. The only thing that's illegal is killing a human. But it's not always illegal to do that. I mean, I'm sure you can think of some ways, legal ways, that people die all the time. And what do you do with that meat? Let me tell you, man, there's some other prime examples of this. In Pakistan, there were two brothers that were arrested for digging up a grave of a 24-year-old woman and cooking her in curry. Okay? These two brothers were arrested. They were arrested after the grave was discovered empty, just 2 days after the funeral. And the investigators went to the brothers' house, where they discovered the remains of the woman that had died, along with partially consumed body of a 4-year-old girl. These brothers were charged for desecrating the grave, and they were sentenced. They weren't charged with cannibalism, though. They were sentenced. They did their time. They were released. But something about that taste of human meat, they just went back at it. They were arrested again. When at their residence, people were complaining about the smell of rotten meat, rotten flesh. The authorities go to the home, where they discover the head of a child. And they admitted they were cooking the youngster in curry. Sick. Yes, I agree. It is. I even say it's sick with these tribes that do it. But some people say, oh, that's their culture. If your culture consists of eating human meat, that's pretty sick. But, I mean, here with the Pakistani brothers, I'm saying sick because it sounds like they probably killed that 4-year-old. I don't know how they found the baby. I mean, maybe they found it discarded in a dumpster or in an alleyway. So maybe they didn't. Maybe they're just trying to use it, I guess. It's still sick. But what I'm getting to is that if it's not illegal to eat human meat, what is the problem with it? Is it unethical? And how is it unethical? Is it unethical to eat human meat? And why? It's weird. There is that gut reaction that it's wrong. I feel it too. What is it? See, there's some things that you just know instinctually that there's something wrong with it. And you can't really figure out. There's a circular logic to it. And you could probably try to logically explain why. But you don't really need to. Like how incest is wrong. Fucking your mom, fucking your dad, all that stuff. That's wrong. You know, it's wrong. You could say it's wrong because you could have shitty offspring that's genetically flawed. Yeah, sure. Fine. Yeah. That's true. But then, you use condoms and all this other shit, whether fuck, and you could try to, people, if that's the case, they could try to put in things in that argument that make it to where it's no longer a problem. Except for the fact that it is a problem. Instinctually, in your gut, you know it's wrong. And that's all you really need to know, right? There's a lot of people out there, like skeptics or whatever, they try to be big brain and say, if I can't logically find the reason why something's wrong, it must be right. That sort of thinking can get people to do horrible things and think that they are justified. Things like murder. Things like pillaging and raping. Things like cannibalism. Because logically, they think they're right because they're justified in some way. Because they're not really harming anybody. They're not harming anybody worth of any importance or whatever. However they phrase it, however they try to justify it. And I do agree. It is fucked up on many levels to eat human meat. And when I talk to the cannibal, I'm going to try to press him. When I do, I got to tell you, if I try to use logic, they're going to fight. He's going to tear through that. I could say that one worry could be that, okay, if that's the thing, people start eating human meat, how do you know it's not going to be you or me or someone else that's farmed or whatever for it? And the rebuttal for that would be simply, I could see it as, so what? I mean, if it makes for a more eco-friendly environment, then you're doing your part. You're paying your contribution. You're contributing to a better Earth by reducing the population, by being part of that reduction. You see how that works? I want y'all to think about that. Because I'm thinking about that. And prepping for the 23rd on Monday when I talk to a real life cannibal. And I'm going to hold him. And I'm going to press him. And I am going to call his family. I'm going to call whoever I can to try to reveal whether or not he is trying to fake my ass. I'm not going to dox. I don't do that. I want verified information. I want this to be true. Because if this guy's playing games with me, I'm not going to waste time with it. Now, I think this ends the Horror Talk Radio portion of this. Since I'm streaming on Twitch, I can just shift right into playing more Final Fantasy VI. I'm having fun with that. I'm a total noob at it, so I'm struggling. Basic little things. I'm like, where am I supposed to go? Who am I supposed to talk to? For those listening to this on the podcast feed, you can find it twitch.tv, Real Game and Chill. Okay. Anyway, yeah, this wraps up Horror Talk Radio.